I came across Farnham Street, which is by a guy named Shane Parrish, who writes a lot on clarity and mental models. But he has a great post, and I'll pull it up here for us. Let me see what we got here. Bite-sized wisdom. So he has the Munger Operating System. And so basically, I'll make this brief. He has several different points here on what he believes are what was Charlie Munger's sort of operating system. What are the components of his operating system? And he goes into depth on many different things. And it's actually a great platform to actually go through. This dude really understands his stuff and knows it. But I wanted to pull up these first 5 or so things that he mentioned of Charlie Munger's way of thinking about business and life and personal philosophy. And so we have the Munger Operating System, how to live a life that really works. I'm going to scroll down to this first one. He says, to get what you want, this is Charlie Munger, to get what you want, deserve what you want, trust, success, and admiration are earned. It's such a simple idea. It's the golden rule, so to speak. You want to deliver to the world what you would buy if you were on the other end. That right there is huge. There's no ethos, in my opinion, that is better for any lawyer or any person to have. By and large, the people who have this ethos win in life and don't win just money, not just honors. They win the respect, the deserved trust of the people they deal with. And there is a huge pleasure in life to be obtained from getting deserved trust. But that first point, you want to deliver to the world what you would buy if you were on the other end. Like that's pretty significant.
So, I mean, it's a great way to think about. This is one of the reasons why people who build products that solve their own problem do so well, right? Because they're saying, hey, this is what I would expect for this price point, or this is what I would expect for this service, this experience. This is what it should feel like, look like. That's why great founders think that way.
Yeah, and you just extend it across the board, right? You just, whatever it is. All right, second piece, the second tidbit here. Learn to love and admire the right people, alive or dead. A second idea that I got very early was that there is no love that's so right as admiration-based love. And that love should include the instructive dead. Somehow I got that idea and I lived with it all my life. And it's been very, very useful to me. So again, pointing people to that broadening of knowledge. You know, there's a clip I saw recently where he's talking about how someone asked him, Charlie Munger, who would you like to speak to, alive or dead, or something like that? And he was like, nobody. I already spoke to them all. And it's because he read all their books and he spent time with their writings. And yeah. Acquiring wisdom, number 3, acquiring wisdom is a moral duty as well as a practical one. He says, and there's a corollary to that proposition, which is very important. It means that you're hooked for lifetime learning. And without lifetime learning, you people are not going to do very well. You're not going to get very far in life based on what you already know. You're going to advance in life by what you're going to learn after you leave here. If civilization can only progress when it invents the method of invention, you can only progress when you learn the method of learning.
Good.
All right, number 4. Attain fluency on big multiple disciplinary ideas of the world and use them regularly. What I noticed since the really big ideas carry 95% of the freight, it wasn't at all hard for me to pick up the big ideas from all the big disciplines and make them a standard part of my mental routines. Once you have the ideas, of course, they are no good if you don't practice. If you don't practice, you lose it. So I went through life consistently practicing this model of multidisciplinary approach. Well, I can't tell you what it's done for me. It's made life more fun. It's made me more constructive. It's made me more helpful to others. It's made me enormously rich. You name it, that attitude really helps. So I won't read the rest of it. Next one here, and we're almost done. Learn to think through problems backwards as well as forward. The way complex adaptive systems work and the way mental constructs work, problems frequently get easier, and I would even say usually are easier to solve if you turn it around in reverse. In other words, if you want to help India, the question you should ask is not, how can I help India? You think, what's the worst damage in India? What would automatically do the worst damage in India, and how do I avoid it? You think they are logically the same thing, but they are not. Those of you who have mastered algebra know that inversion frequently will solve problems which nothing else will solve. And in life, unless you're more gifted than Einstein, Inversion will help you solve problems that you can't solve in other ways.
I've heard that before.
This is the last one that I think is really important. If you're unreliable, it doesn't matter what your virtues are. You are going to crater immediately. So doing what you have faithfully engaged to do should be an automatic part of your conduct. You want to avoid sloth and unreliability. So be reliable, avoid sloth, learn to think through your problems backwards, understand the big multidisciplinary ideas around the world that are shaping the world, acquire wisdom, learn to love and admire the right people, dead or alive, and ultimately, to get the success you want, be someone who deserves that. And you can measure that by, are you the kind of person that embodies that and delivers the things you want into the world?
That I want to pin on that multidisciplinary idea.
Yeah.
So I think that's why I get so interested in like geopolitics, world history, right? History doesn't repeat, but it tends to rhyme. It's so interesting to me because it allows you to think in more of a first principles mindset, because you kind of see where the world is going versus using parallel structures. Well, this is the way things are, right? One prime example of that would be today of like people are complaining about tariffs. Like, oh, everything that you're going to go buy is going to become more expensive. And it's like, exactly. That is exactly the point, is we are trying to reduce consumerism. We're trying to promote stateside manufacturing and production and make that better so that we can move from being a consumer economy, which is where we were pre-World War II. We were a production economy, right? And we didn't participate. We became a consumer economy. We're trying to go back to that, right? So that's an idea of like, I'm trying to understand the grand scheme of things. If you understand that, all this chaos that's going on around us gets a lot clearer, because you're thinking, well, what's going to happen? Well, it's like manufacturing, production, all those things are coming back to the United States, which is great for America, right?